percentage of men say they'd swap their partner for the latest must-have gadget? The answer is a very sad 13%.
Thank you very much. You're watching Thursday's Right Stuff. We've got five Gadget King, Jason Bradbury here, Mark Little and Gemma Bissett. In a little while, our last part of the day, how often do you wash your sheets? Such a simple question. Are you one of the 500,000 people who only do it 3 times a year?
Wow.
500,000 people. 0207 173 5555. That's the number. Don't dirty sheets bug you. I'm tempted to talk about boys with gadgets, but I also want to draw your attention to a little news story about our Kirsty. If only because it's going to make her feel really embarrassed. Media Guardian picked up on your appearance, didn't they, Kirsty, as a Spice Girl? I want to be Spice Girl. Have a look at this. They really looked after you with that screen grab, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did. They really thought about the size of my arms.
Taking one for the team, an insider said, apparently. Anyway, thanks very much for that, guys. So, what is it with boys and gadgets? It's the perfect question to ask with Jason here. On Monday, he mucked about with some high-tech kit, but he needed help from a pint-sized expert. Sweet guy. Now, most blokes I know, they can't wait to get their hands on stuff like this. Oh,
hey, look at
that. How cool is that? Whatever it is, I don't know. Oh.
Look at that. Look how it's biting.
Make it stop. Make it... No, now,
turn it
while
off.
my lady friends, right, they would rather buy a new handbag. A study a few years back found that 1 in 3 men would choose gadgets over beer or sex, while more than half of the women questioned confessed to having only a limited understanding, Gemma, of technology. This is a reader for reading books, Gemma.
That's right.
But times are changing, you see. The gadgets certainly are. Look, they now come, where have I got them? In girly pink. Yeah? So there's all this stuff for girls as well. Now, I could throw out all kinds of theories, OK, about boys and gadgets, but I reckon Mark could do a better job. I saw his Defending Kate at the Caveman show the other day, and it's about the differences between the sexes. Men are hunters, right, fixated on a single thing. Women are gatherers, which explains the interest in handbags.
The gatherer cannot lock into one thing. The gatherer must notice everything all at once, whereas the hunter's job is to focus on their prey. That's why, you know...
Is that boys and gadgets? Is that why we need to...
Could be. Look, because I don't fit into that category, so I'm not into gadgets. I'm not.
But it's the theory that when I was watching the show, you kept saying fixated in one thing. I know that, you know, the video game things, and I see the people and focused one thing.
It is a hunting issue, isn't it? And I don't know if girls are into that really much. They can probably do a whole lot of things at once.
But just the fact that men can't multitask, so they have to concentrate on one thing. I mean, stereotyping here, and women can do more than one thing at once, perhaps. I mean, when my brother or my cousin's on the computer, you can't have a conversation with them. They're just like that. Whereas if I was playing the computer, I can talk.
Are you interested as a woman? Are you interested?
I've got one of those. Mine's red. I wouldn't buy it because it's pink. I don't like pink just because I'm a girl. So, but mine's red. But I would play with. Yeah, I mean, but that's like, for instance, if I could take long train journeys or things like that, it's just.
You
good.
take it with you.
So I don't take it with me on a daily basis. But if I go on an aeroplane,
would you accept that there is a difference between? Because I don't know. Is there a difference between the way women deal and girls deal with this kind of stuff, techie stuff, and boys?
Oh, I think definitely. But then I think that's. I don't know. I don't know why, but I think that's what boys are kind of... When you get your toys as you grow up, as children, you know, girls always tend to get dressing up clothes and makeup and jewellery-making kits, and boys tend to get gadgets and things like that. I think it's kind of instilled in you as you grow up. Whereas
it's conditioning.
My dad loves gadgets. I mean, anything, birthday, Christmas, he just says, go to the gadget shop or go to this shop, and that's it. And anything that he can...
OK, now,
fiddle.
There is a theory, I've read about it, and it says that autism is a scale, and all men are on that scale. And I guess by that it means that there's an element... I don't know whether they muddle the thoughts of autism with fixation, but there...
I think that's really interesting, a sort of autism scale. I mean, I'm not qualified in any way to speak on this, although interestingly, when I created my character for my book, I did do some research into autism because he's a mathematics genius, the character in my book, something akin to Newton, a young Newton at the age of 12, but living in modern-day Peckham. OK? And it's true. Honestly, he lives in a tower block in Peckham, and I wanted a bit of kitchen sink mixed in with the genius just to see where it would go narratively. And so it's interesting, but I'm not qualified to talk about it, but I know what you mean. There is this fixation thing that men seem to have. And interestingly, I obviously work with an awful lot of women who are highly technical, Susie Perry being one of them. A really good friend of mine.
But she is... she bucks the trend. She rides motorbikes. She leans towards the tomboy.
Well, possibly, but I mean, is there anyone more feminine than Susie Perry? I mean, the interesting thing is, I think ultimately it's a subjective thing. It's a very difficult thing to judge objectively. It could also be something about the modern age in which we're living. My daughter's growing up with a PlayStation 3 game, with a
I imagine she doesn't have much choice around your way, does she?
You know, the truth is, it's interesting because I like to think that she does. I'm sure all parents think that they offer choice, that we don't force things. But obviously, you've got DSs, you've got the iPhone and the iPod Touch laying around, and she likes to play. You've got a little virtual toy, this iToy it's called, and she plays it on the PlayStation. This is amazing, and it appears on the telly like it's in front of her. So I think she's going to grow up with a very different set of values. That's my point.
Do you think the next generation there will be no difference between the sexes, that men and women will have an equally in-depth relationship?
I certainly think it's possible, although I do think that the way culture has, and this is what you're referring to, Gemma, of funneling boys down one route and girls down another, that may not slacken off too much. But I think certainly the availability of digital technology and entertainment is sort of shortening the gap. Yeah.
OK. Is there a difference with boys and gadgets and girls with gadgets? Let's find out what you have to say. Kirsty.
We have Mary on line 1.
Mary, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you think there is some kind of division between the sexes?
Well, I think so. My grandson is only 18 months old, and ever since he's been able to play with toys, he's never played with conventional toys from being about 1. He's always wanted, like, old mobile phones and things like that he can get his hands on with buttons that he can press and noises. He loves playing with... I've got a helping hand, you know, your little stick that you can pick things up with. He loves that because he just presses the buttons and sees the end working and the mechanical end working. He just is a gadget freak. We all call him the gadget freak, and his daddy.
18 months.
And I think it's definitely in the genes.
OK, Mary, thank you for that. Now, you have a gadget widow with you, is that... Eric? Eric, concentrate.
Sorry.
Concentrate.
OK. Yes, that's right. I've got Marcia next to me. And they're just really distracting. So, Marcia, you are a gadget widow, aren't you? Your husband's obsessed with gadgets.
Yeah, my husband's
Why don't you join him?
I clean them. I clean the gadgets, but I don't actually play with the gadgets. But sometimes when he's playing with his gadgets and now my son is now joining him, I might read a book or go off and do my thing.
But why don't you get as much enjoyment out of it as not just your husband, but also your son?
I just don't enjoy... It doesn't give me that kind of pleasure. I don't enjoy those gadgets.
Do you worry as you see your son being sucked into...
Yeah, because it's kind of I like to talk and get out and about, but it's kind of an antisocial
activity. You need Twitter and Facebook in your life.
Sorry?
The funny thing is, you say it's antisocial. My nephew lives in America, and his best friend lives in Mexico. They met playing Call of Duty. Well, they didn't meet. They got to know each other playing online games, and they've since met and everything else. So when I was saying it's so antisocial to him, he says, no, Uncle Butthead, because that's what he calls me. It's moved on, actually, now to Uncle Butt Nugget, but that's a different story for a different day. And he says, no, it is social, so maybe because I'm like you. I mean, it just leaves me cold.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. So I have to find some other interests or get together with my friends.
Yeah.
Can I ask, is it just gadgets, or does it have to be new gadgets? Can a bloke get stuck with one gadget for years and years and years, or do they have to go on...
What particular gadget are you thinking of, Mr. Lim?
Well, I'm not into gadgets. I'm not into technology and that sort of thing.
Do you think that's an age thing?
Is it boys needing new toys, or can men get stuck with...
I think there is some fetishistic relationship between generally men, but not all men exclusively, as I said earlier, and certain types of machinery. And I'll tell you why. I once met... last week, I met a chap, and he had parts from a Spitfire, like a camshaft and other, widgets. It was fascinating.
Get alive.
Looking into this object that had flown around in World War II and the way that it moved and the smell of it and, the shiny, shiny thing.
Yeah.
No.
That's
You almost make it sound appealing.
Shiny thing.
Slightly scary. One of the two.
We'll leave that one there. I think.
design.
Funny enough, it is actually a huge subject, isn't it? I think. But we'll leave it there because I want to move on to dirty sheets because you look in the audience as appalled as I do. But we want to know about the people at home if dirty sheets bug you or not. Because 1 in 6 of us admit to washing the bed linen just once a month. I think that's disgusting. I really do. And I need to know how often you should give them a clean because I am starting to feel like some sort of Howard Hughes clean freak. I even might start peeing into a bottle. 0207 173 5555 is the number. How often should you wash your sheets? It's such a simple question. We'll find out the answer after another short break.
Brits from which region have the dirtiest sheets? London, North East or South West? Find out after the ads.